to be Hey everybody, got to be super quick. I have a interview to do with ODU's football team in about 15 minutes, so I need to hurry up. So I will bring you guys our sports capping for this week. A brief recap on how my season is going. We are in week 14. I am at 60% so far. I finally got back to that 60% threshold. It's good for sports gambling. Like I'm on a profit for the season, not so much for the competitions. Unfortunately, I've basically been eliminated from both competitions, which it happens. It's been a funky year this year. And it took me about 3 tries to crack the top 10 on the My Bookie contest. I would imagine Westgate, being that it's kind of a different setup and obviously much better gamblers. It'll probably take me a couple years to do that as well. So I look forward to getting back into it next year. But that doesn't mean that, we stop capping, because obviously I have money on a game-by-game basis on these games as well. Contest wise, I'll need a miracle to get into the top 20, but that's perfectly fine. This is the experience here. So let me get to the games real quick. Like I said, don't have a lot of time, so I'll just jump right into it. Thursday night football, we got the Patriots at the Steelers. I am leaning and going with the Patriots +6. I'm going to take my points with the Patriots. I'm also going to dabble a little bit on the money line for the Patriots. +205 is what I'm seeing. +210 on some sites. Look, the Steelers are not that great. You're getting a 2-1 odds on a team that honestly has a chance to win the game regardless of what people think. It's worth the shot at 2-1. Like, it's not like you're betting against the Chiefs or some team that's just dominant. The Steelers should win this game. These are spots where they typically win. But with the short week and the Patriots being as bad as they are, who knows? Honestly, who knows? So that's why I'm going to take my points. Steelers offense hasn't been necessarily putting up a ton of points either. Mitch Trubisky's coming in. It's not like he's lighting the world up, but his mobility does pose a little bit of a different threat than what you would have gotten with Kenny Pickett. The prop that I'm going with, again, staying on the Patriots side, Bailey Zappi over 0.5 touchdowns, -115. I know a lot of people are not familiar with Bailey Zappi. Hasn't played much better than Mac Jones in spots, but the guy has potential to have a 1-game to 2-game sample size throughout the year where he looks really good. We saw that with Tommy DeVito in his last game, and I think Bailey Zappi can kind of do that against the Steelers defense as well. As long as they block TJ Watt, I think this defense can be had a little bit. Bailey Zappi comes from an air raid system. He was pretty good in college, and has the ability to get the ball to his receivers. So we'll see how that goes. And again, talking 1-game sample size, not crowning them or putting a whole lot of stock into it. Just think that this is a good place to take a shot with the Patriots team. Heading into Sunday, Lions at the Bears. Let me give you my disclaimer real quick. There are 5 games where the weather will be significant. We're talking high winds, we're talking rain, and we're talking cold. And out of those 5 games, I believe 4 of the teams are visiting teams and dome playing teams. You need to keep that in mind. The Rams at Baltimore, the Lions at Chicago, the Colts at Cincinnati, and the Texans at the Jets. We're talking low 40s, 20 mile per hour minimum winds, and a bunch of rain against teams used to playing in elementless fields. So keep that in mind. I wanted to go heavy on the fade of those teams, but the matchups are still kind of favorable to the dome teams. So again, they've got the talent to win the game. The Lions don't necessarily justify taking the risk, but this Lions at Bears game, I think does. I think you're getting 3.5 with the Bears. I know a lot of people are not high on the Bears. They almost beat the Lions a couple weeks ago on the road. It just seemed to match up well against this team. And I think that, going forward, you got to keep that in mind. The Lions were lucky to get their cover last week. I faded the Lions last week because the Lions have not been a good cover team since their bye week. They pushed against the Chargers. They didn't cover against the Bears. They didn't cover against the Packers. And they barely made the cover against the Saints last week. I am fading them once again. I still say they're a team that's trending down, regardless of them winning. I'm talking against the spread. I think they're a team trending down, and I like the Bears here. Would be willing to see how my Thursday night goes. I might roll that into an upset Bears money line. I don't know yet, but I'm definitely taking my points with Chicago here. Going into my second game that I like, Vikings at the Raiders, and you guys will see I'm pretty big on taking points when I can. The Vikings at the Raiders, not sure who the quarterback's going to be. It could be Hall, could be Tricky Nicky, could be Dobbs. I'll have to double check that. But this is what we're in Thursday. This might change my mind depending on who the quarterback plays But I like Aiden O'Connell, and I like this Raiders team with Pierce. I think they're a solid team. The only reason why they didn't cover against the Chiefs that last game is just kind of dumb coaching. And I don't think they'll come into play. I think they match up pretty well against the Vikings talent-wise. I expect to see a lot of Josh Jacobs this game. I think he can have a good day against this Vikings defense. And I think they'll be competitive. I actually hope that Dobbs plays, gives me some turnovers. But Hall, we had a 4-play drive or something like that. We didn't have a big sample of Hall, so we don't know what he can do. Based off what I saw him do at BYU and scouting, I mean, he's a game manager as well. And Nick Mullins isn't a winner. He has his moments, but I think Aiden O'Connell and the QB advantage definitely leans to this Raiders team. Defensively, that Vikings offensive line is pretty solid. The Raiders should be able to find some success in spots depending on which side they attack them from, but I would assume that we'll see Max Crosby moving around a lot. Hey, what's up, Jamie? How you doing, man? Going to be a quick show this morning, but I'm trying to get it out there. Bills at Chiefs, what some people would probably consider one of the games of the week. Bills at the Chiefs. If the Chiefs had to beat the Packers, I probably would be going with the Bills here. I think this line is entirely too small. Chiefs have an equally as good offense, but substantially or significantly better defense. And I think that's what's going to be the difference maker here. Unfortunately, I think we'll see another game where the Bills look good, compete, do well, and then somehow, some way at the end, I don't want to say a Josh Allen turnover might be the cause, but they're just not going to have enough to win the game. At -1.5, we're just asking the Chiefs to win the game. Would be totally shocked if it was a 1-point win, but still, you never know. You never know. He said, best bet. I bet tonight will be the most boring game of the year. It'd be close. I don't know. I watched that Patriots-Jets game. That was pretty boring too. But yeah, let me get the Chiefs here. I'm going to lay my points with the Chiefs as the home favorite. Eagles at the Cowboys. This is the game of the week. So much riding on this game. If the Eagles win, the path to them being number one and having home field advantage throughout the playoffs is pretty easy. If the Eagles lose, they're going to need some help. Cowboys need this win to win the division. And if you would assume by winning the division, it puts them in a position to be 1 or 2 for home field as well. But the Cowboys have a tough schedule coming through over the next 4 or 5 games. So even winning this game, it might not put them in the position that they think they should be in. But at the end of the day, they can't get to where they want to go without winning this game first. So it sets up for the Cowboys to take care of business. Yes, the Eagles just got smacked last week by the Niners. Yes, they had 3 games in X amount of days and blah, 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 all these excuses. Look, at the end of the day, the Eagles just didn't execute well enough to win that game. And you have games like that in a 17-game size, in a 16-game size, even in college football, in a 12-game size. Sometimes you just have bad games. Last week was the Eagles' second bad game. They had a bad game against the Jets, too. Can the Cowboys beat the Eagles? Yes. Will the Cowboys beat the Eagles? That all depends. Depends on the combination of things. Something not being talked about, the health of Mike McCarthy. He had a appendectomy, I think, or something like that. He's supposed to coach on Sunday. What happens if he doesn't? What if there's a complication and they got to go with Dan Quinn as the coach or something like that? Nobody's really talking about that. and I think that's kind of significant because he's done so much for Dak Prescott this year. Just how he calls the game is so much better, so much more control. If anything were to happen to McCarthy, he can't coach. I think this line should swing 3 points, honestly. I think it should be virtually a pick 'em if McCarthy can't coach because I couldn't tell you which Dak Prescott I would get without him there to manage that game. But you're getting 3.5 with the Eagles, who are a good team. Despite what people think, despite their close wins and all this other nonsense, they are a good team. That secondary can be had. They probably will be had. CeeDee Lamb will probably do everything he wants to do when he wants to do it. But there's this division game matchup that's just kind of making me lean to taking my points with the Eagles. I don't trust Dallas to come in and make a statement and whip the Eagles. And then if they don't cover the 3.5, I would assume it's a blowout. That's where I'm going with. I don't think this is a 4 or 5 point game. If the Eagles don't cover, they're losing by more than a touchdown. And I still don't see that. Eagles know what's on the line, plenty of motivation, plenty of history between the teams. So let me lay my points with the Eagles here. Rams at Ravens. This is my last game, and then I'll be out your way, guys, because like I said, I got an interview in like 2-3 minutes. Rams at Ravens. Let me give you this stat. Lamar Jackson is 18-1 against NFC teams. 18-1 against NFC teams. 18-1. You have to take that into consideration. You have to take into consideration the elements. Rams are a dome team that come in to play on the road. It's going to be wind. It's going to be rain. Ravens are well-rested, probably as healthy as they'll ever be. And Lamar he does a number on NFC teams. He does a number on teams who are just seeing him for the first time. And I think this is going to be a big win by the Ravens. I would be very upset if they don't cover this number because situationally it just sets up real easy for the Ravens to get this win. If the Rams lose, their season's not over. I think 9 to 10 wins in the NFC is going to get you in the playoffs. I'll put it that way. 9 to 10 is going to get you in the playoffs. So the Rams and Seahawks sitting at like 6-6, they still got 1 or 2 games that they could potentially lose and get in the playoffs. So I wouldn't stress too much if I'm a Rams fan here, but think Baltimore comes out. I wouldn't even say makes a statement. I just think they just do what they're supposed to do, and that's win this game. Defensively, Ravens fly to the ball, and I still think teams that can get pressure on Matthew Stafford give him the most trouble. He still doesn't look comfortable with people around his feet. So if you got a team that can move the pocket, and there's a couple of pocket movers on that Ravens defense, I think that'll set up for Baltimore to have a great game. Kupp and Nakua, always dangerous, always a problem, but I think they can contain that as well. So those are my 5 games. I don't have honorable mention games right now, just because, again, I didn't really have time for that today. It's just a congested day. But I did give you my my prop, and I'll go back over that again tonight. Bailey Zappi over half a touchdown. So basically to throw 1 touchdown pass. I think he can do that tonight. And then, again, riding with the Patriots points and taking a shot on the Patriots money line tonight. And you guys know I'm all about risk taking, have no problems with laying, on a 2-1. And if it misses, it misses. We can make it up somewhere else. But if it hits, then you're up 2 units. So as long as the risk match the reward and so forth, I'm with it. So good luck to you guys this week. I think last week we had a pretty decent week. I know for a fact we cleaned up on the prop on Thursday Night Football last week. So let's keep it going. If you need me, find me in the Discord. I did not get that disclaimer at the beginning of the show, so let me go back and do that before I get in trouble with the guys up top. But this is the Fantasy Six-Pack NFL Betting Show. You can get access to my betting advice along with other award-winning rankings, custom advice, and Discord at fantasysixpack.net/plans. Sign up. We've got DFS going strong on hockey, basketball, obviously football season still. I know some guys cleaning up based on their playoff performances for NFL, DFS, and fantasy with the advice that Keith and those guys give. Joe, pretty much everybody does DFS except for me, which is not something that I'm good at for some reason. But anyway, make sure you guys sign up, though, for the packages and get in, because we've got awesome stuff coming for baseball season as well. With a couple of the guys, I'm in that chat and I see what they're doing. They're working on some great things there as well. So get in early, get your information. Good luck to you this week, and I'll catch you next week.